You will finish this episode with a complete, four-part checklist that turns Bill Williams' chaos theory from a pile of squiggly lines into a single, high-probability entry trigger. You will know exactly when the Fractal, the Alligator, the Awesome Oscillator, and the Accelerator Oscillator all agree. And you will have precise, pre-calculated numbers for your stop loss and take profit, so you stop guessing and start managing risk like a pro. This is for the trader who is tired of looking at a chart full of indicators that all say different things. You know the pain of the alligator pointing up, but the Awesome Oscillator is red, and you freeze. You hesitate, the move runs away, and you miss the trade. Or worse, you enter anyway and get chewed up by the sideways chop. This removes that paralysis. It is for the M5 and M15 scalper who needs a fast, objective filter. It is for the H1 and H4 swing trader who wants to avoid entering right before the alligator flattens. If you have ever felt like Bill Williams' tools are amazing in theory but impossible to execute in practice, this checklist is your operating manual. It forces discipline. It removes the emotional, I think it might go up, and replaces it with a mechanical, checkbox system. We start by building the checklist from the bottom up. First, you need the alligator's mouth open. That is your trend filter. We only want trades when the jaw, the teeth, and the lips are not entangled. On TradingView, just add the alligator indicator. Look at the three smooth moving averages. They have to be clearly separated, with the lips on top, then teeth, then jaw. Why? Because that separation is the definition of a directional market. If they are braided or crossing, the market is sleeping. Step away. The reason this matters first is simple. Without a trending market, the other three components will give you false signals all day long. You are just gambling on noise. You need the big force moving in one direction before you even think about entry. Step 2 is where we get tactical. You are looking for the fractal to form in the direction of the alligator. A fractal is a 5-bar pattern. The middle bar has the highest high or the lowest low in that sequence. On TradingView, Williams fractals are plotted as arrows. Crucially, you do not buy the moment the arrow appears. The arrow prints after the pattern has completed, which is a lagging signal. So you wait for the next pullback. The fractal is your level, your marker. If the alligator's mouth is facing up and a bullish fractal forms above the jaw, that is your hunting ground. You set a pending buy order just above that fractal's high. The reason we do it this way, not market order, is to confirm that the pullback is over and the next wave is starting. You are entering weak hands, not chasing strength. Now we add the catalyst. This is the Awesome Oscillator, or AO. This is the momentum engine. You want to see the AO histogram printing green bars above the zero line if you are long. But we are looking for the recent history. Did the AO just make a higher high? Did it turn up from below zero? The specific setup that works best is called a Twin Peaks or a zero-line cross. But for the Holy Grail combination, you just need the AO to be expanding. You want the current bar to be larger than the previous one. This confirms that the buying pressure is increasing, not falling. The reason the AO matters so much is that it prevents you from entering a trade that the alligator missed. The AO is faster. It will show you when momentum is flagging before the alligator's lines cross. Step 4 is the confirmation of precision. We are layering on the Accelerator Oscillator, the AC. This is the leading indicator. It measures the change in the rate of speed of the AO. Think of it as the spark plug. In a perfect setup, you want the AC to be green, but you also want to see it turning up from a recent red or green plateau. The trade filter here is simple. If the AC histogram is higher than the previous bar, it is accelerating. That is your trigger. The combination of the AO expanding and the AC accelerating is the explosive thrust. So now you have the base, the direction, and the fire. Now, here is the crucial part. Let me walk you through a real trade I took on the M15 chart, Eurist, a couple of weeks ago. It was 2:30 p.m. London time. The alligator's mouth was wide open to the upside. The jaw, teeth, and lips were stacked perfectly. A bullish fractal had formed after a minor pullback, exactly above the jaw. The AO was green, and the current bar was twice the size of the previous one. The AC was green and spiking. All four components aligned. I entered at 1.0850 with a market order. My stop loss went below the fractal's low, which was 1.0830. That is a 20 pip risk. My take profit was set at 2 times the risk, or 40 pips. which hit 1.0890 exactly 47 minutes later. The move was clean. The total cost was the spread, which was 0.8 pips at that time. My risk to reward was 1 to 2. I did not touch the trade after entry. That is the outcome. The checklist gave me a precise location, a precise risk, and a defined exit. Let me be brutally honest about what this system cannot do. First, it is terrible in a ranging market. If the alligator is flat, do not trade. Period. But the real weakness is the lag. The fractal is a lagging signal. You will miss the very first leg of a big move because you are waiting for the confirmation. In a fast, news-driven spike, like an NFB release, the AO and AC will go vertical, the fractal will form, but by the time the alligator lines expand, the move is over. The second big limit is the stop-loss placement. Using the fractal low is logical, but it can be very wide. On the H4 chart, that stop could be 100 pips or more. If you have a small account, you will either blow up or you will microsize your position so much that the profit is meaningless. It also fails on lower time frames like M1. The fractal signals become too frequent and too false. You should not use this. Anyone who cannot wait for all four conditions. If you skip a component because you are bored, this system will bleed you dry. It is slow. It is selective. Some weeks, you will have 0 signals. That is the cost of high probability. If you need action every day, stay away. The obvious alternative is to just use the Alligator and the Awesome Oscillator alone, or a simpler moving average crossover system. For most traders, that alternative wins in one specific situation. When you are new, the full 4-component system is complex. It is easy to misread the AC or get the fractal direction wrong when you are just starting. A simple 50 and 200 EMA crossover on the H1 chart gives you the same directional bias with 90% less effort. It is better to trade something simple profitably than to ruin yourself trying to be perfect with a complex tool. If you can't spot the AC acceleration on a screenshot instantly, go back to basics. So, here is your next step for today. Open TradingView, pull up your favorite chart, and identify the last 5 fractals. Do not place a trade. Just mark them. Get used to seeing where they form in relation to the alligator's jaw. Do that for a whole day, just 5 marks. That is the entire task. The more you see it, the faster the trigger becomes. Next week, we will dive deep into multi-time frame analysis, combining all this with Bill Williams' tools across M5, M15, H1, and H4 to catch the big swings.